everyone, I'm Jenna.
And I'm Mark. Thank you to everyone for tuning into another episode of Cincinnati Zoo Tales. We've got an extremely fun episode. We're really excited for all of our listeners to be introduced to our brand new zoo director, Dave Jenike. Dave, we know we always say all of our guests are busy, but I truly think you might be the busiest man in the zoo right now. So thanks for taking the time to meet us.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, congratulations, your new role, CEO of the Cincinnati Zoo. How does that feel? How are you feeling right now?
I feel so lucky. It's an incredible opportunity, and I feel humbled to be able to take on this task to lead this incredible institution. I think the thing that probably makes it really great is to know what a phenomenal team that we have here, and part of this, I think, message to everyone here at the zoo and everyone in our community is, we are trying to keep the band together and continue to do the amazing things that people have expected of us over the last 20 years.
Now, I know you've been here for a long time.
Yes, I shouldn't have said for people to have the chance to meet you, because you're a familiar face.
Yes,
people who've come to the zoo probably
as the new
have seen
director.
you. Yes.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your background, like how you got started, how long have you been at the zoo?
So I started here in the education department in the 1990s, and that quickly led to sharing stories and building programs and introducing and connecting kids and families to nature. Somewhere in the early 2000s, I took on the role to oversee not only the education department, but the facilities and capital planning that we do, which is one of the things that is so much fun here at the zoo, to be able to think about new habitats and where we're going. But if I were to be honest, my path here to the Cincinnati Zoo probably started when I was a kid.
Okay, tell us about that.
So I grew up here in Cincinnati, and the zoo was always a place that I just absolutely loved. It was a place that I got to come out, feed giraffes. They were up in the elephant house back in the days.
What were you feeding them back then? Wasn't it
peanuts?
Just peanuts.
Or we go to a thrift store and buy bread, and we bring loaves of bread to the zoo. We'd feed giraffes. We'd feed ostrich, and you hold your hand flat, and they'd come up and take food from you. So things have changed a great deal.
Yeah.
So make sure I'm not advocating that right now.
No, but it's just like there's a lot has changed and grown since you started. Yeah.
And I think for me, the luck of the draw was growing up in a family with two parents who were educators. They were both teachers. They both valued that curiosity and learning in life, but more than anything, I got to explore not only the local attractions, the nature center, the museum center, the art museum, the zoo, but we got to go visit national parks. Every summer we'd hop in a coachman trailer, 4 kids, my parents, often a cousin or somebody would come along with us, in one of those cars that would be, you'd sit in the final seat in the station wagon facing out the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we would travel across the U.S. And visit historic sites and national parks, and I have always felt at home exploring, felt at home kind of out on a hike in nature, and I know that came from those early experiences as a child, visiting national parks.
I have 2 questions for you. What is your favorite national park? And then when you applied to the zoo, what was your dream job at that time? What did you envision yourself doing when you graduated college or whatever brought you here?
Yeah, so my I'm going to give you 2 favorites.
Okay.
I can never pick
It's
one.
hard to choose one.
I love Acadia National Park up in Maine.
I've heard
I've
that's
always loved that park. It's beautiful year-round. The carriage trails that you can walk and cycle on are just absolutely amazing. And then the other one is the Tetons.
Okay.
There is something special about getting out to the west and to the mountains and to see the Tetons in the background. There's a little lake called Jenny Lake right at the foot of the Tetons that I spent my 50th birthday and camped there.
That's special.
That's
awesome.
Those are both on my list.
They're beautiful, beautiful parks. So for me, when I got here to the zoo, I again, I earned my stripes in the education department, and I always thought, I'd love to be the director of education. But one of the things I think I recognized in my career is what I really loved doing was taking on new challenges, taking on new projects, continuing to grow and expand what I have been, whether exposed to or trying to accomplish. And that's led me down a path that has, I guess, landed me here in this incredibly envious position to be the next director of the zoo.
That's amazing, though. Obviously, we talk about in the zoo field all the time. Growth never stops, right? There's always something new to learn here. There's always something, new things to adapt, new skills, new environments to create, like you're helping to do across the zoo. I do feel like we need to address the elephant in the room at some point, though. You are following a legendary zoo director and a legend in the city of Cincinnati, Thane Maynard. You've obviously worked very closely with Thane over the years. What have you learned from him over spending so much time with him?
So I've worked with Thane for 35 years. When I came to the zoo and started in the education department, he was in the education department. So I've worked with him for a long time. Our families have traveled together. When my daughter was young, we went up to Cape May, New Jersey to watch hawks, which he's done every year for almost 50 years now. In the fall. So I've been around Thane a lot, and I think the two things that jump out at me are that optimism and hope that come with being a storyteller, being someone, the old phrase that he used to use a lot, the power of the story is not necessarily what you learn, but where it takes the listener. And his stories, his focus, his energy and excitement toward nature and connecting people with nature in a way that is hopeful is something that that I encourage everyone to practice. It is he is remarkable at it. I'm going to be my own person, and luckily Thane will always be a phone call or a walk down the hallway away. So
I know we talked a little bit about the changes, and there's so much growth that can happen at zoos and as people and everything, and you see things that happened 50, even 10 years ago that were like, wow, how did we think that was best practices? And that's constantly changing in zoos, and it's a good thing. We want to always be doing what's best for the animals, and I know we're making bigger habitats and looking into welfare, and we're getting into more conservation and science and things. But what are the things that you would like to see change in the next 3 to 5 years? Is it more animal focused? Is it more people focused? Do you have any big goals?
Yeah, I do. So I think the place to start is to recognize there's a lot to celebrate. The through line through our history and hopefully moving into the next 10 years is the fact that we have been so fortunate and so successful here at the zoo. And I think that success started with the idea of inspiring people with wildlife, that idea of thinking about an experience here at the zoo, not just coming to passively look at animals, but to walk through a beautiful and accredited botanical garden and to create experiences, whether that's through the habitats that we design, the keeper encounters that we do on a daily basis,
or feeding giraffe peanuts,
or feeding giraffes, feeding giraffes only officially approved lettuce that you can get from our team. So I think for me, when you look back over the last 20 years, we have been able to transform a huge part of this zoo, upgrading facilities, expanding the staff and the experience of the staff, creating new experiences for visitors, creating new animal encounters. To think when I walked here today to meet you, I walked through the habitat you guys take care of, and I walked through Africa, and there were people out watching the giraffes. The ostriches were interacting with a family The hippos were out. It was one of those moments where you see the importance of the experiences that we can create. And we've been able to renew the zoo over the last 20 years, building out new habitats, strengthening our botanical garden. It's one of the true assets that we have as a zoo and garden that separates us from so many other facilities. That when you walk around this park, you're in a park, and it feels good. It feels healthy. It feels fresh, and it's
so
beautiful.
Seamless too. You don't even notice it as you're walking through between the plant habitats, the animal habitats. It's just, it all feels like one experience, you know.
Yeah. And so we've had this incredible decades of growth of rebuilding, and with that rebuilding then comes programs that support all of those new habitats or all of those new gardens, the education programs that we do, continuing things like the Zoo Academy, which gives high school kids an opportunity to have their education in their last 2 years of high school here at the zoo, but also programs that I've been really proud of, the Dragonfly program with Miami University, which is now their largest graduate program, and we're able to provide or guide people through a master's degree over 3 years that exposes them to the whole world, to conservation programs and conservationists working in communities across the globe. And it's always a treat to meet the folks that have gone through that program and how impactful it is in their lives and changing what they do, whether they're a teacher, a zoo professional, or working in another field. They're impacted by that program, and that makes you feel really great. So there's a lot to celebrate, but of course there is more work to do. And I think when I look forward out over the next 10 years, that is understanding how we continue to create exceptional experiences here at the zoo, the most innovative and best experiences with wildlife. At the same time, creating lasting impact in our community, both right here across the street, as well as across the globe. And that's the part that gets really exciting for me. So let's start with the things that we know right now as far as creating those amazing experiences here at the zoo. We've been fortunate to get, after many years, our black bear habitat opened and sea otters.
Great things take time.
Yeah.
Great things take time. They do.
It's incredible now, I'll tell you that much.
They have been so much fun to watch. And I think the sea otters are going to be just a beloved animal here at the zoo. Kevin and Chloe are already, a destination for visitors when they come in. And again, when you talk about how we've gotten better and how we've done, how we've grown as an organization to take the absolute best care of those animals, the enrichment that we do and the types of innovations that we create in order to deliver that enrichment. Well, there's nothing more exciting than watching our sea otters as they eat clams just as they would in the wild, and they'll dive down. They get so excited, and so that getting that habitat open was a big step forward, and it's important because it focuses on animals right here in North America, animals that are important to us, and it connects some of our really important species recovery programs. So when you think about, as you walk down Bear Hill, next year we'll be able to get the Mexican wolf habitat completed, and then of course that's right adjacent to Manatee Springs. And both those programs, the Florida Manatee program, which we've been involved with for decades, has helped not only bring attention and awareness to Florida manatees, but has helped that species recover along the Florida Peninsula. Also, Mexican wolf. That is one of the great conservation stories, and we are at the epicenter of that. Our team is leading those programs, and to know that that's a species that literally almost went extinct, and through the efforts here in North America, or here in the U.S. and in Mexico, there's a viable population that is thriving in the wild. And now the challenge in front of us, and working with our conservation impact team, is to be able to grow the work that we do to reinforce behaviors that help us coexist with wildlife, with, in this case, predators. So I'm excited to see where that goes. So we've got this whole North American section of the zoo that I'm very, very, very excited about. And not to bring everything back to giraffes, but we are
And
going
we could talk
to,
about giraffes all day,
Yeah.
so don't tempt us. Don't tempt us.
we are excited to be able to, now with Elephant Trek open, which was a phenomenal accomplishment and excitement to get that fully open, and the elephants enjoying that and using the space that they now have. But what comes next with the old elephant house is the opportunity to move the giraffes up to that facility, to expand the yard, so that we can have literally hopefully double, if not a little bit more, our giraffe herd, and create more opportunities for that experience when visitors come to the zoo. And then from there, we'll be able to refocus our energy on the space that giraffes moved out of, and the idea of having what we're calling Rhino Reserve, but to have a rhino back here at the zoo, I think will be exciting for everyone.
I think everyone will love that, having the
Yeah.
rhinos back too. I know that you've mentioned you traveled, and I know that just from talking to you that you like to read. Do you have any trips planned, or do you have a favorite place in the whole world, or are you reading any good books right now?
Yeah.
Like, what's a little bit about you and your personal life? Is there anything we would be surprised to know or to learn?
Oh, surprised to learn. Well, I'll start with the books I read. I've become a real, I love fantasy novels.
Okay.
So the whole world building,
That actually is something that's kind of
yeah.
surprising
Yeah.
to me.
like the Priori, the Orange Tree is a great one that kind of headed me down that path. So I love the stories, and I love the idea of creating these epic stories in these new worlds. So that's always been something I've probably enjoyed as a kid. I was always a fan of Star Trek and that whole new world concept. So exploring new places, learning new things. So I've enjoyed that idea of just reading some stories for fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little escape too, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's always nice to have.
Yeah. So favorite place in the world would have to be for me, and I get the chance to lead a group from the zoo back to this site in southern Kenya. It is two Maasai communities of Kiramatian and Champole. They're right on the Tanzania border, and they become a place where I have friendships with the Maasai and many of the members of Soralo, who are the community organization that are working there today to reinforce the important role that communities play in conservation. Communities, whether across the street or across the globe, are important leaders in the conservation success that we have today and that we'll have in the future. And they live in this beautiful landscape, and I should say coexist in this beautiful landscape. And it's a landscape where elephants and lions and leopards and zebra, Grant's gazelle, striped hyena, all live and exist. And the Maasai, with their cows, as pastoralists, live and exist, in fact thrive. And over the last 20 years, the zoo, through our partnership with Soralo, has helped to shine a light on the work that they're doing. We've helped participate. I think 20% of our staff have actually been able to go over and work with this conservation team, and to see the potential that is created when communities set their mind to creating a world where people and wildlife can thrive. so that place, it's one that I've been fortunate to go to many times. And like I said, I have friends, when the new year comes around, it's always a joy. I usually get it earlier in the day. WhatsApp
Yeah.
Different side of the world. Yeah.
from my friends in southern Kenya. But that is both a beautiful place. I love sharing it with our community, with our staff, with our board, with our donors, to see what conservation success can look like. And it's also just a place that brings me great joy.
There's nothing better than Africa.
Yeah.
I'll say
I've
Jen,
never been there, but
we've both been lucky enough to go to East Africa as well. Do you have any favorite, a single animal encounter or moment that you had on safari that really sticks with you? Like anything jump out offhand?
Well, I'd have to tie it back to lions. And you guys get to hear this every day. I heard it as I was walking over here. Our lions roaring, and you can be asleep in a tent at night and all of a sudden hear lions roaring through the darkness. And one opportunity there in the South Rift, the lions there are much more active at night. So we would go out when we go out to try and locate them. We'd go out either super early in the morning or late in the evening, and listening to that roar in the darkness, just quietly, listening for where they are as they're calling out to each other to find each other, is something that gives me goosebumps just sitting here. So
I can't imagine in the dark in Kenya hearing that. I am a lion keeper. I get to work with them, have been for over a decade now, and it's never gets old. I can be at giraffe and hear them roaring, and I will, like a zoo visitor, run over and try and get my video and the things that I don't like. First of all, I probably don't need my phone that often, but you just want to capture. It's incredible. And then every once in a while, we're very lucky, and they'll do it while we're inside the lion building. The whole thing vibrates. It is so loud, and it's
you
just
feel it in your chest. You can feel
it's
incredible.
the craziest thing, and it never gets old. So I imagine out there it would be incredible.
It is incredible.
But slightly terrifying.
We, there's a dance that occurs as people move through the landscape, and the predators and the wildlife and the people all kind of move back and forth as they use some of the grass banks that are saved for the cows during the driest parts of the year. And I'm usually there at that time when this transition is occurring. When people are beginning to move the cows into areas that wildlife were occupying. And I've been fortunate to teach the Miami University course in Kenya for about 15 years. And often the students that are with us, there's often some runners that are part of that group. So I'll usually set up at least once to go out with a couple of Maasai guides, and we'll go for a run. And I can remember doing this. It was a short 5K run, and we were running down along the river, and I kept looking down, and I saw lion footprints in the sand, and I'm not a tracker, so I'm thinking, well, what in the last couple of days, and I kept pointing, and sooner or later the Jeep that was following us, the Land Rover that was following us, came up and said, "Hey, those were from last night. You guys, just be alert." I'm like, "Be alert?"
Should we get back in?
And I think very quickly everybody did get back in. But it was to think you're actually out running and taking footsteps in the same path that a lion had walked the night before is remarkable.
Definitely.
And it's very inspiring to see, like you mentioned, the way that they coexist with the wildlife over there. I remember when we were on safari, we were lucky enough to see a pride of lions, and then we go over a hillside, and then there were a couple Maasai tribesmen with their cows just walking them across the hillside, and it's like, how are they managed to coexist with these animals? It's beautiful. We struggle with that here, the species we have.
It's one of the things that has become a highlight of the safari that we lead is near the last day we do a walk with the cows. So we actually get out and walk 2 or 3 miles with the cows as they're coming back to their boma at night. But it highlights the importance, I think, and a critical thing as we think about the future of our own conservation efforts, and how we integrate in the human dimension of conservation. We live in a world that humans dominate, so this idea of coexistence and how we shine a bright light on coexistence and how we tell those stories, and how we research what is working, and what could be shared with other communities, is something that I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg on with our zoo, and the conservation impact that we can create in the coming years. We have invested in hiring a group of conservationists that are social scientists that work with people, and I think by understanding how people are coexisting, and sharing some of those success stories, we can help create a world where people and wildlife thrive.
Definitely. Now, I know, not to bring it all back to Thane, but I know you've probably had so many experiences with Thane. He's influenced your leadership style in some way, which I want to hear a little bit about, but also he's known for loving alligators. He even has a pin you can buy at the zoo of Thane with an alligator. If you hear him tell a story and you ask what his favorite animal is, he's going to say the American alligator. Do you have a favorite animal?
So my favorite animal, and again, I probably have lots of favorite animals, but if I were to zero it into one, the lion is lions and giraffes.
I would have guessed that, but then also penguins. No, I always give you a hard time about penguins. No, lions and giraffes. I was going.
World Lion Day is on my birthday.
Yes, yeah.
And I've always loved giraffes. Giraffes are one of those animals that you could just sit and watch as they watch you from a distance for hours upon hours. But I love nature. Nature sustains us all, so I love going out and seeing new things. I've always been a birder, so I love walking outside. And the benefit of birding is that you can see so many different species. They're almost everywhere, but you can see how they adapt to different niches, whether that's in a forest, in the water, in a wetland, and how their beaks are shaped differently, how their feet work differently, how they seasonally migrate from place to place, and each spring brings new birds back to our backyard that had overwintered in the tropics. So birds in general I love a lot, but if I were to boil it down, the animal that's probably had the biggest impact on me is the lion and the work that we've done in Kenya.
I feel like it's very hard to pick a favorite, so I'm always really impressed when somebody can actually, or not even impressed, but just surprised. I'm like, how can you do that? I guess to choose one.
But we should go back to a second your joke about penguins, because I do love penguins. They're amazing birds, and they're always active. And we happen to have a couple of penguin habitats here in the zoo that you can see. The little penguins down with the kangaroos, the African penguins, which are, again, a great conservation success story, but one that is one that we need to really work on in the next few years. There's groups and partners that we work with in South Africa, Sandcob specifically, that works with seabirds. But the African penguin is one that needs our help today, not tomorrow, today.
I had no idea they were so endangered until we recently heard about Kim Klosterman's trip, and
So that's one of the great things that's changed within the zoo world. As we form conservation partnerships, they truly are collaborations. We have the opportunity to not only support these organizations, but the staff that we have so many skills that can help them succeed with their conservation goals. So to be able to share some of our staff with some of our field partners and the expertise that we bring to the table, whether that's in fine-tuning solar energy, or working directly with rehab birds that need some time to recover before they can go back out into the wild. And African penguins are that great example. They're an amazing species. They are very sustainable within human care, but in the wild they are severely endangered, and we need to really dedicate some time and energy to working with our partners on the ground to help them have a future.
Speaking of that, it might be hard to pick one, but is there a specific moment you could share of a time when you were especially proud of the zoo staff?
There's so many.
Or anything you admire most about the zoo staff?
You know, there are moments. Let me stick with some of the animals we're talking about. The giraffes. I have over the years seen the change in the care that we provide, in the training that we do, but to walk into our giraffe barn and to see a training session with our giraffe where I can walk up to stand next to a giraffe, and this was training that you guys were doing for ultrasounds, but to stand next to a giraffe and actually put my hand on that giraffe's belly was amazing. So when I see the change and the innovation that frankly all of you are bringing to the table, the new ideas, that is super exciting. You know, to be able to know and to apply some of that, particularly on the training front. The relationship that you as keepers have with the animals that you're caring for is at the core of our zoo. So whenever I get a chance to see that in action, it's really amazing. But I also get to see our educators. You know, I this just past year I went to celebrate the end of the summer camp season, and our staff have a lot of fun, and the idea of you know, during the course of 12 weeks in the summer, you know, 150 kids a week, all in small groups, learning and exploring and sharing their curiosity about nature. And when it was all done, the instructors all got together and they had chosen different animals that they felt each instructor represented. And when they went through the awards, it was more fun than I've had in quite a while. So, you know, the biggest thing for me, I think, when it comes to the pride that I have in the staff is I do try to take seriously stopping and listening, stopping and having a conversation with people as I walk around the zoo. I really am, when I ask how are you and what's new and exciting, I really am curious to know what's going on in your world. And we're fortunate here at Cincinnati Zoo to have an incredible staff top to bottom. We have a great leadership team. Frankly, I'd say the envy of any zoo in the nation when you look at the team that we've assembled here at the zoo. And that's what brings the zoo to life.
Definitely. Yeah, we're fortunate to have it here for sure. We do have to shout out Teresa with all the incredible giraffe training she does. Like, she's a savant. I mean, I can't believe the stuff she gets our giraffe to do is amazing.
Yes, it's always impressive to us.
And you guys see, I mean, you work with the hippos and the training that you do with our hippo. Sometimes that it is powerful to stand that close to an animal, and to be working with that animal in a way that you probably know better than I. There's a mutual respect and collaboration that's occurring that is, I can't say it any other way. It's powerful.
It's kind of like how you say you sometimes you're with your coworkers more than your family sometimes, just the way the hours in the week work out, or you know, you get to know your coworkers really well, and the animals are kind of like our coworkers a lot of the time. And I think it's funny, like the collaboration and like you said, the mutual respect and the things you get to know about the animals and how to work around them, and you know their individual needs and how to kind of get them to be willing to do something. And then I go home to my own dog, and who doesn't get as much of my time, and I'm like, I'm really proud of the training I do at work, but I can hardly train my dog to walk well on a leash. You know, it's just kind of funny, but one of the best parts.
One of the fun parts of stepping into this role as zoo director, well, I don't have to read every single daily that you guys write down.
Oh gosh,
but I start my day every day. Our registrar, Mary Noel, creates a summary for me, so I get to start my day every day with kind of the animal news. What's happened at the zoo? What's going on across the zoo? And it is both seeing how people write the stories, as well as just staying up to date with what is happening and what's important, over the last day. So the work you guys do is amazing.
Always something going on. I'm sure.
You're obviously stepping into a big new role. Is there a certain part of the role of as CEO and director that most excites you? Like, what are you most excited about to take on? Because I'm sure there's a lot on your plate now.
So it's working with people. It truly is. My role is to help make sure that the zoo can succeed, can accomplish its goals, and we do that through the people that bring the zoo to life. So I'm excited to, in some way, start a new relationship with people, to see a pathway to growth for some of the leadership team that is also taking on some new roles as we move forward. So super excited to be able to do that. As I said, the idea of a zoo has certainly grown and changed in the 35 years that I've been involved. And to know that we're sitting here today and having a legitimate conversation about how we as an organization can create lasting impact within our community, whether that's through our zoo and the experiences we create, the outreach that we do with other nonprofits within this community, the leadership that we have within sustainability, and the smart use of resources. The idea of creating lasting impact on the world through the people that we connect with, there's nothing better.
That's what it's all about. That's what we're here for.
I feel like we have the zoo as our, like, the rare opportunity to kind of use as our method to make a difference, if I were working somewhere else, I don't feel like I'd have a chance at making a difference, but we can kind of use it as our tool to change the world in some way.
Definitely. And I feel like we always joke that, as keepers, we have the easy side of the zoo. We get to work with the animals, like the people who are out there working with people and making those connections in the community. I feel like that's the really challenging part of the zoo world.
It is, and again, once you work here long enough, you start to run into people that you taught when they were young. They're kids that I taught when they were 8 and 10 years old, when I was a lot younger, that are now adults and professionals and leaders within this community. And to hear the impact that both individuals and the zoo has had in their lives is really meaningful. So it is. It all works. It works because we work together. We can't do this individually. We have to collaborate. We have to work together. And when everybody's doing their job, if you will, magic can happen.
I don't know if you get to do like what your days look like, or if you try and see everything around the zoo, and if all the fine details of things like tours. But if you were going to bring friends from out of town to one tour, or you wanted to show them one habitat at the zoo, or one behind the scenes tour, what would you be most excited to show them?
Wow.
It's okay if you don't say
like,
hippos.
have
We
you-
won't take any offense if you don't say
No,
hippos. We won't.
But like, I'm curious to hear what you would say. I'm wondering if you've gotten to do, like, I've never done a little blue penguin tour, but
So-
I don't know if you get to do all those things, like, or if you like even have time, or if you
So
how that works.
you know, a tour through the zoo has many layers and many stories. One of the ones I love, frankly, is the little blue penguin habitat. Going there with Cody Sowers, who is he's the penguin whisperer, if you will. And to be able to walk into that space and walk out into that habitat and share the space with them, I find myself, if I'm leading a tour, Cody will start talking. I'll get my camera out and start taking pictures.
You get to see everyone act like a kid again.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's pretty magical.
It is magical. It truly is. And then I would also say I have been blown away by the both our horticulturalists and our garden. It is, you know, when I walk around and there isn't any necessarily secret like behind the scenes aspect, but when I walk through this garden and see the shade that's provided just by the canopy that we've planted over the last 20 years, to see the native plant garden, the pollinator garden. When you walk by a pollinator garden and you tend to focus just on the bright color and the flowers, but it's when you stop and you look, all of a sudden it is alive with activity. It has, many different species of pollinators that are working every flower in that garden. And I love stopping to share that with people and to appreciate the botanical side of what we do. It's also an element that brings conservation to us locally. You know, one of the big things that the Cincinnati Zoo currently does, and I hope can do more, is work to create wildlife-friendly habitat in the urban landscape. You know, the biggest land managers within our cities are homeowners, and how do we work together to highlight some of the native plants that can go into your yard, and the benefit of planting a plant that attracts wildlife is then you get to see the wildlife. Yeah. You get to see the monarch butterfly come into the milkweed. You get to see the pollinators on your fall blooming asters or other things. I'm not a horticulturalist, so forgive me if I've got that wrong. But and then you get that beauty that is something that is not only something that we should value, but I think it's something as a community that helps build respect, and creating green spaces, creating tree canopy, bringing in flowers that attract pollinators or plants that attract birds, is something that we really are doing and can do more as we continue down this path in the future.
Yeah, and it's always fun to see how all that stuff is connected, right? You get the pollinators come in, you get more birds come in, and it's, like you said, it's really fun to walk through the pollinator garden and see how alive it is. See the butterflies and the bees and the hummingbirds fly through. It's awesome.
So for the last few years, I've done the don't rake the leaves.
Yes.
Much to my neighbor's chagrin. But
this is Jenna's passion project right now. You just made her day.
Well, I want more lightning bugs.
Yes!
When they overwinter in the leaf litter, and like there's nothing more exciting than lightning bugs during the summer. But I'm not at home during the day that much. So over the weekends, I go home, and one day I looked out my back window. So my whole backyard's just covered in sycamore leaves, which that's my favorite tree. So it's the one big tree in my backyard. All the leaves are down on the ground. There must have been 40 robins out there just picking up leaves and kicking through it, looking for something to eat that I never would have seen if I hadn't have been there, at noon. And
if you had raked your leaves, you would.
And if I had raked my leaves, it wouldn't have happened. So, and I think the opportunity that the zoo and botanical garden has, is to bring some leadership and story to those, encouragement, I guess some community to that effort to say, hey, it's okay if you don't rake your leaves. Jenna and I will be the posters for
cheer
that.
For you.
We'll not only cheer for you, we'll help.
Yeah.
And if you want to plant a pollinator garden, we'll not only cheer, we grow the plants out at our Boyer farm and we'll sell them. And you can talk to the experts out there to find out what's going to work in your yard. So, we are, everybody listening, when you think about your favorite memory at the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden, know the effort that goes into creating those experiences is driven by a team of people across every aspect of what we do here at the zoo, and we're fortunate to have a great team that brings the world famous Cincinnati Zoo to life every day.
Definitely, yes. Oh man, the robins, I just have to say, leaving your leaves, all the things that come with, like we mentioned, pollinators. I planted like already grown milkweed for the first time this year. I've tried seeds before and I failed. But I would like be excited to get out of my car every afternoon when I got home from work and check and count the caterpillars, the monarch caterpillars that had like hatched, and I spent, hours out just like looking under leaves throughout the summer. Like it was like entertainment for me.
It really is.
So let's take a minute just to talk about monarch butterflies. So monarch butterflies are one of the most amazing species, and they're right here in Ohio. They are the only intergenerational migratory species that we're aware of. So they overwinter in Mexico, and I've had a chance to go down and see their overwintering, to see literally a tree full of monarchs flush as the sun warms them up and their wings start to fill with life, and then all at once thousands, tens of thousands of monarchs all take to the air at one time. Absolutely remarkable. But those monarchs that are overwintering down in Mexico begin their journey north. They breed, they lay eggs, they need milkweed, as we know. That's what their caterpillars eat. It's their host plant. So they lay their eggs on milkweed. Caterpillars, grow up, form a chrysalid, and then emerge as a monarch and continue their migration north. So there are 4 generations of monarch before the ones that we see in late August when they're beginning their journey south again. And it's that fall generation, that 4th generation, that lives for 9 months, that flies all the way down to the same forest in Mexico.
Blows my
They've
mind.
never been there. That individual butterfly's never been there.
I can hardly drive 2 hours without using my directions on my
They go
phone.
to the same place. And the beauty of this story is what you just described, is that you can be a part of it. You, just by planting milkweed, and there are different species of milkweed, they have a beautiful flower, you can plant that in your own yard, and you can have the experience that Jenna.
I'm so excited.
Did you have a chrysalid
We had
this year?
4, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I actually got to watch one as it was had
that's
just
awesome.
come out. And I can't wait. Well, I shouldn't say this, but it's kind of expensive to buy the plants. They're like $50 a piece. But I'm like, I'm going to save up and I'm going to plant the whole back line of my yard with
worth it,
milkweed.
yeah.
One piece of advice is start with some common milkweed, because that will send out.
Okay.
That will grow
Okay, good. That's good to know.
once
yes.
you get it established.
Yes, I don't even know what kind I bought actually, but I need to find out.
Yeah, when you plant it, those animals will come.
Mm-hmm.
When you plant, I have a holly tree in my front yard that every year robins or cedar waxwings, when the coldest day of winter comes, it's got those red berries that within a couple of days it's like a feeding station. I'll have a mob of robins that'll finish off the whole tree. But that's how nature works.
Yes.
And you can invite nature to your own backyard just with some simple practices. And we as the zoo and garden will be glad to help you on that journey.
Yes, and we did an episode with you on monarchs. If anybody wants to listen, I can't remember what year it was, but you can learn more about the monarchs. Nature is so fun. The more plants you plant, if you're not a plant person, you get to see the insects. If you're not an insect person, you get to see the birds and all the things. Did you have any trivia today?
I do have some trivia for you if you're up for it. Yeah, so we're obviously talking to our leader here at the zoo, you know, our new director, which we're really excited about. So I've got some trivia about the names of leaders in the animal world. So this might sound confusing, but this is going to make sense once we get into it. So the first question I've got for you, what is the leader of a gorilla troop called?
The silverback.
Silverback. There we go. One for one. Well, we've got a couple beautiful silverbacks here if you're ever visiting. Go see.
Yeah, we have
Gorilla
quite a few.
World.
We have a big bachelor group that has been really exciting to integrate into our facility here.
I feel like those gorillas are always up to something. They're always such a fun watch to go over and
Boca
see.
Joe's going to be a silverbacks at some point.
Yeah, I know.
Now just love him as a little toddler with Gladys.
I know all the videos and everything I've seen him. He's something else. He's hilarious. All right, next question I've got for you. What is the leader of the beehive called?
The queen.
Queen bee.
Yeah.
The queen bee. Anyone who hasn't checked it out yet needs to go check out our Insectarium, World of Insect, because there's some incredible. I know not everyone's a bug person, but I promise there's something for you to see that you're going to like in the world of the insect. There's something for everyone there.
It is. It's remarkable. I mean, it was built in the 1970s, and it's still one of our highlights when you do a tour of the zoo. Filled with animals that just you can get really close to, and that are so unique. It was always my daughter's favorite. She would go and stand in front of the naked mole rats.
Oh yeah.
Just laugh. Eventually, I think I had to pull her away from it because she was creating a commotion around the right enough space around the habitat.
Yeah, I think I've said on the podcast before, my dad's favorite habitat in the whole zoo is the leafcutter ants.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we would just see him there for an hour. He could just stay there. We'd go off and see something else in the zoo. We'd come back and get him before we'd leave on the way out.
Have you ever taken the chance on a behind-the-scenes tour to kind of stick your head in the leafcutter ant, the cutting arena?
No.
The smell is so amazing.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, it smells like a warm forest. Like it's absolutely amazing.
We gotta do it next time we're over there. Next time we're over there. All right, we're 2 for 2 so far. What about the leader of an elephant troop?
The matriarch.
The matriarch.
Yeah.
Yep. Matriarch. They're a matriarchal society led by the females, and the lead female is the matriarch. Yeah.
And how important is that in our world today? You know, that generational knowledge.
Yeah.
That is so important. You know, matriarchal herds, whether African or Asian elephants, it is that oldest female that knows how to react to change, knows how to react to times of drought, to respect and understand that generational knowledge, and then apply it as a lesson for all of us.
Yeah, more important than ever now, right? All right, second last one I've got for you. We're 3 for 3 so far. The leader of an elephant seal group. This is the only one on the list that I had never heard of.
The leader of an elephant seal, which elephant seals are amazing. If you're Googling an elephant seal, look at some pictures, because a bull
Watch some
elephant
videos
seal
too. Yeah,
I knew they were
amazing.
like gregarious, but do they have like family groups? Like
So the leader on the beach is called the beach master.
So are they a leader or are they the boss?
The boss. I think more of a boss, more of a bully maybe.
Beach master.
I think that's a career aspiration.
The male that runs the beach of the elephant seals, the beach master.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we should all aspire to be
The beach master. Oh man, like you said, if you haven't seen them, I encourage all of our listeners to Google them, look up a video, because these males, I mean, they are charismatic as can be. They're a sight to be seen for sure.
We could just change your title from director of the zoo to
Beach
master.
I'd have to find we'd have to develop another penguin habitat. We need more beach here at the zoo.
Right.
Update your business card now. Dave Jenike, beach master. All right, last one I've got for you. Dave, I've heard you're a soccer fan. So what is the leader on the soccer pitch called? The player that wears an armband. What's he called?
The captain?
The captain. Yep.
Thank
the
you.
captain.
I think that's right.
Leader of the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I am a soccer fan. I'm a big FC fan, and enjoy going to their games.
Those games are so much fun. The energy
yeah.
at the FC games, it's unrivaled. They're a blast to go to.
So, looking forward. Their season starts at the end of February, believe it or not.
Couple more weeks. Yeah, I know. We'll be right around the corner.
Yeah. So,
Well, Jenna, do we have anything else for Dave while we have him?
Well, I do have one more question, but before that one, I've heard you played this game. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, Celebrity. And you know, typically you pick a celebrity and then you have to try and get your teammates to guess. Have you played this game?
I don't know this game. No, this is
you
new
put
to me.
like names in a bowl and then somebody picks it out, and anyways, Dave, who did you put recently in a bowl?
So we got to start with what is the definition of celebrity?
Okay.
All right. You know, I mean, it doesn't have to be somebody.
Depends on your point of view.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, exactly. So when I think about celebrities that I guess I never knew, but I grew up reading. One of them happens to be a man by the name of Aldo Leopold. And we can't go through a podcast without talking a little bit about Aldo Leopold, who, if you have not read, and I'm being very serious here, the book, The Sand County Almanac, which was a compilation of his essays that came out right after his death. But he was a very influential person in my life as a young zoologist and budding ecologist, but he actually chronicled some of the early kind of ecosystem changes that occur, and he's famed for writing about, believe it or not, Mexican wolves. And when Mexican wolves were seen in the early part of this last century, the only good wolf was one that was dead. And he, everyone believed that fewer wolves meant more elk. Fewer wolves meant a healthier habitat. And that, of course, couldn't be further from the truth. It is that dynamic, that dance, that interaction between predator and prey that helps maintain the health of our ecosystems. And, well, I'll let you read it. Read about the fierce green fire, and it is one of the most influential quotes and observations that he made and began to change the way we think about nature.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
Aldo Leopold.
I'll say Aldo Leopold.
Aldo Leopold sounds like an amazing person. I have not read the essays or the book, and I hope that after this podcast, he becomes a common name in the
That's
game
what I
of
was gonna
Celebrity
say,
when you play. I think a lot of the coworkers were expecting like Taylor Swift or.
But so in this game, I got some of those names that
You didn't know.
I was like, I have no idea who this is. So it all depends on your perspective.
For sure.
Oh, that's one, Jenna. Like you said, the father of modern day conservation. I strive to live in a world where Aldo Leopold is a household celebrity. Like let's make that a reality.
Let's do it. Okay, my final question really is, what can I do? How can I be a better steward of the earth?
Yeah, I think my recommendation would be certainly thinking about behavior change, but thinking about it in the context of changing your habits. Too often, and this is that time of year where everybody
Time of year.
Yes.
makes New Year's resolutions, and the only way those resolutions actually become something that matters is if you make it a habit. If you've made a resolution to walk, to get outside, and listen to nature. There's a great Swedish word, gokacha, or julkacha, I think is how you pronounce it, that is to wake up every morning, to appreciate nature and listen to the first song of the bird. That can be a habit, but you got to get up and do it. And once you turn something into a habit, then it just becomes part of who you are. So my recommendation, whatever that thing is you're passionate about, work on making it a habit. and you'll have then changed your behavior and made that change for the long term.
Definitely. Yeah, I think something that's like easy is people probably like me have a ton of, reusable tote bags in the trunk of their car, and when they go to the grocery, like it's hard sometimes to remember to bring them in if it's not your habit. You do it every single time, or you get out of the habit because you were thinking about something else, but it's just an easy habit.
Yeah.
Things like that could really make a difference. And
there, it takes 5, 6, 7 times, to make something into a habit, and you have to dedicate the energy to it. But we can, and I think I guess if I would leave with a message, as you think about the role that the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden plays, we are a place that shares the stories of wildlife, of plants. We are a place that creates experiences and connections to nature for families, for adults, and we do that in a way that encourages people to create a lasting impact. For this zoo, as we move into the next decade, that is my great hope, is that we can continue to connect people to nature in profound ways, ways that encourage curiosity and wonder, and at the same time illustrate that working together you can make a difference. Working together we can create a world where people and wildlife thrive.
I love it.
We can do it together. That's our goal here.
Yes,
Yep.
definitely. Well, thank you, Dave, for joining
you
us.
both.
Congratulations on the new role. I don't know how different. Does it feel different?
It does.
Okay.
It does feel different.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm excited for 26. I'm
Good.
excited and looking forward to working with all of you more, and for to share what the zoo can accomplish with many more people.
We're excited too.
I know. We're lucky to have you. We're excited for your new role. To all you listeners out there, we're excited for a new year with you as well. So thank you for tuning into this episode. And until next time, take care.
Have a good week.